All right, we are here with Ryan Cass from Boeing for our Leaders 411 Leadership Day. Obviously not a normal leadership day. Normally we send cadets out to Boeing, but today Boeing is visiting us here virtually. We're very grateful to have Ryan here. He's got a little bit of background with the Citadel, which he's going to tell you about. And Ryan, why don't you give us a little introduction to how you got to where you are at Boeing, what you do, and where you come from.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, everyone, and thank you so much for the opportunity. It's great to virtually be with you all. My name is Ryan Cass. I'm a graduate class of 2015. I was a business major at the Citadel and currently been at the Boeing company for 5 years, 3.5 of those which have been here in Charleston. I originally began my career in St. Louis as a member of the Business Career Foundation program. The BCFP is a structured rotation program, so every 4 months you're doing a different job for the first 2 years of your career. And that really helped me identify my interest and passion within the business world. I came into Boeing thinking, coming out of business school, that I was going to be a big finance and strategy guy. And I walked the F-15 production line for the first time and quickly realized that I really enjoy being close to the product, close to the people, out there, out and about with everyone. And that's something that I enjoyed most about the Citadel. So it was kind of a natural fit for me. So since then, since that first day, I began tailoring my career path to align to that ultimate goal of running a factory at the Boeing company. Currently, I have transitioned over into industrial engineering, and I lead a process improvement team in our composites building. So I have a cross-functional team of all of our engineering disciplines, even though I'm not an engineer by trade. And we work to basically simplify the build process for the 787. How can we make it as safe as possible and as simple as possible for the mechanics, so we don't have any sort of rework, which is very costly, and the jobs are easy to perform for our maintenance technicians. So what that looks like is a lot of time on the airplane, understanding every piece of the build, why it's done the way it is, and finding ways to do it better.
Man, that is awesome. You know, it's funny. It sounds like you have a vision. You know, here's where I'm going. I'm going to run a factory, a major branch division for Boeing someday, and you're working towards that. Did you have that vision as an undergraduate? Just for a minute, indulge me here, and the cadets who are watching, talk a little about the things you were involved in, what company and the things you were doing as an undergraduate at the Citadel that obviously they can relate to, and then how you thought about the process, finding a job, how you actually went about it. What maybe surprised you about it? Obviously, it was a successful search, so I'm sure hearing from the time you were undergraduate to the time you got to Boeing, that's the moment that a lot of these folks are in. What was that like?
Yeah, so the Citadel it really is, now being on the outside looking in, a phenomenal training ground and it really, I know the term leadership laboratory is thrown around, and now that I'm looking inside, outside looking in, it's true. Because a lot of the situations that I've been put in, difficult situations, especially at Boeing, working with people, I've felt so prepared because of all the situations having in different leadership roles at the Citadel. So while at the Citadel, I was in Palmetto Battery my first 3 years. I was a company clerk and first sergeant junior year, and then senior year had the opportunity to be the 5th Battalion commander. And again, is what I encourage all of you to do is, if you're not in a leadership role at the company level, pursue some sort of leadership role, even if that's in a club, anything, because once you get out into I think the advantage of the Citadel is if you're having the opportunity to lead your peers, which is the hardest form of leadership, by the way, at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, some people in the workforce will never have the opportunity to lead even 10 or 20 or 30 people throughout the course of their entire career. And you all as 22-year-olds can lead groups of up to 400, 500, or if you're the regimental commander, 2,000 people. And that experience alone teaches you how to work with someone from every walk of life, every background, which is exactly what you're going to do in the workforce. So having, like, right off the bat coming into to Boeing, I mean, there were several times where I was faced with pushback just from being the young guy or promoting a new idea, and I never really felt discouraged or deterred because of the lessons learned at school, which, you know, talks about, hey, always be persistent, always spend time with your people. You spend time with your people, build the relationships. Eventually, you'll be able to get what you want. How I went about getting into Boeing and really going back to just creating that career path. One thing that's really helped me a ton, and I started this during my first semester at the Citadel, was I started writing down my goals every semester on paper. And it's something that I still do today. So this binder right here has all of my goals going back almost 10 years now from matriculation. And that simple practice was kind of what led me to, helped me get into Boeing. I didn't know anybody at Boeing, but I leveraged LinkedIn. If you don't have LinkedIn, I highly suggest that all of you get one. Use it. It's an extremely powerful tool, and I would argue it's still underutilized by a lot of folks your age. So if you're going on LinkedIn and reaching out to people, taking initiative, what that's going to tell an employer is, hey, such and such reached out to me on LinkedIn just to learn more about our company. If we hire him or her, that person is going to be a self-starter. We're not going to have to tell him or her really what to do, because you're already proving what you're going to bring that company just by sending a simple message. And a lot of people don't think about it that way, but it's evident. So found some folks on LinkedIn that were in the program, and fortunately, the guy that helped me out, I've still never met him in person, Art Guerrero, counseled me through the whole interview process, how to prepare my resume, and
Wow.
Here we are. And how I'm in the role I'm in now is, as soon as I found out my passion for operations, I just started communicating that, making it a goal, letting people know this is what I want, and putting in the time. Obviously, just because you want something doesn't mean you get it, but putting in the time and again, sharing my goals. And that's really what's helped me a ton, and that'll help me in the future.
And what great advice. You know, just getting something out of your mind and putting it on paper, writing down your goals is such a powerful tool. You know, they say the word becomes flesh, or you can manifest things this way. And so your conscious and subconscious mind work together once you've written the goal down and brought it in the real world. Not just I think it, but it's actually real. Now it's on paper. Now there's like, it's not really accountability, but it's almost like you're focused on getting there. That's a great piece of advice for young cadets, for sure. Second, you know, very low cost in terms of time, effort to get on LinkedIn. The career services helps with that here at the Citadel. Paige, Tisdale, and Tyler are great resources for getting a solid LinkedIn profile. And you're right, like the proactivity, you know, doing a search at a couple of companies you like, reaching out to those folks, asking them just, what's your job like? Do you have time for a 15-minute interview? That is almost zero cost to you, but it shows, it's a demonstration that you are interested. You're not just waiting for the world to come to you. You are going to be proactive in whatever role that is. So I think that's another great piece of advice. And the third thing I've heard you say, which I think is really going to shock a lot of people who've been studying engineering, is that you are a business major, but you joined a larger organization that has a lot of different, you know, it has accounting, it has engineering, it has business development, it has international relations, all kinds of different, or government relations, all kinds of different areas you can see. And if you join a large corporation, you can kind of see what's out there. And oh man, even though I studied business, I've got a real passion for people. I've got a real passion for engineering, and I can articulate that because I'm used to speaking because I was a cadet. I'm used to interacting with others verbally and in writing. And through that, you can achieve the goals you're writing down. This is an incredible interview, and I'm going to ask every senior that is in this class to take time to watch it, because that's great advice, man. Great advice.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're 42% more likely to accomplish something when it's written down. It's been proven through studies. It'll always be a part of my life now. I mean, I attribute a ton of the reason why I have what I have today just to that simple practice, and everybody has a pen and paper.
I'm tempted to end the interview because it would be the shortest one and everyone would watch it, because this is really great stuff, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep you on the hook here for a minute. What are your next steps? You know, you've written down your goals. So here you are, you know, you're in operations, you're doing what you love with people at a great company. How do you progress from here? What is your career path?
Yeah. So now that I'm in the industrial engineering type role, so I'm more so responsible for improving the production system, but I'm not directly responsible for the teammates building the aircraft. My next step will be to transition into that role. Reason why I wanted to stay in finance in this role for a while was because I've learned that while we do have a lot of great operations leaders, some of them know the product like the back of their hand, which is great. That's super important. But the next step, or the next level leaders, they also understand how the business itself runs and how the business plans are put together. How do we make a build plan? How does manufacturing engineering influence the build process? So it's been very intentional, you know, spending time in these support organizations. But next year, after I complete leading this special project, the goal is to go into operations management, to be responsible for the teammates actually building the aircraft, own the build plan, and then from there it would segue into a senior management role and ultimately a director of our factory, one of our factories.
Yeah, that's again, it's great advice. Lifelong learning, constantly learning, seeing what needs to be learned, and then going and putting in the time to learn it through experience. One of my concerns for cadets leaving the Citadel who are on that 24-hour cadet system is that, you know, it's kind of, it's prescribed. A lot of it is like, you will do this at this time. And so, and you see, there are folks that graduate, and they kind of forget how to provide that regimentation for themselves. And so they start falling off on that lifetime learning or that physical fitness and nutrition and all that sort of thing. And so keeping up on that lifetime learning piece, seeing what's important to know, super critical. And then the other thing you said, which I think rings true, is being patient, listening, not listening, but blooming where you're planted, learning a full capability set that might not be the thing that you're ultimately going to do, but it's what they need you to do right now, which if you do that well and prove that you're capable of doing something that might be difficult or not the end state desired spot, you ultimately get selected for things that are a little bit higher priority. So that's really cool. You know, I predict you're going to reach your goal, and probably by the time you get there, you'll have a further goal. I don't want to say the predictions on my mind, but I have a feeling Boeing is going to be very lucky to have you there, Ryan.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I love working for them, and I'm very thankful for everything they've done for me. So.
All right, so just to be respectful of your time here and to make this as enticing as possible for cadets to watch, we'll keep it under 25 minutes. Putting yourself now, you've already given a lot of great advice, but as you put yourself back in the mindset of a 22-year-old cadet that might be going into the military, might be embarking on a career in service, public service, or in the private sector, what do you, 5 years out of school, what do you wish you had heard as an undergraduate cadet? What do you wish you had known that you didn't hear or that you'd like to share with them? Final thoughts.
This is going to sound crazy because I already hit on the goal setting. So I think that if it's not already incorporated into your lifestyle, you got to do that, because that'll carry you wherever you want to go. But the one thing, sir, that I did not do well and didn't do well for the first 3 years of my career, and part of it, the Citadel environment is always go, 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 go. I mean, it's 100 full gas or pedal to the metal all the time. And don't get me wrong, I'm a big believer in that. I still wake up early before work and work out, and that those things will still stay a part of me. But one thing that I didn't do was take time for myself. I always thought, okay, hey, you need to be in the office 75 hours a week and always doing something, always grinding. And again, I'm not saying don't grind hard, but it's just as important to take time for yourself. I didn't take a real vacation for the first 3 years of my career, and that's not something I'm proud of. You don't get a badge of honor by being in the office for 200 hours a week or by barely sleeping. If you study some of the well-renowned leaders across all industries, anything, self-care is one thing that they're going to highlight on top of being regimented, but they're also going to talk about taking care of themselves. So that's something now that I do prioritize. It doesn't mean that if I get tired one day that I just leave the office, but it does mean every now and then, hey, I will take time off, take a day or take a couple days and go play golf or whatever. And that's become looking at the goals list, something that I put on my key priorities, self-care, and take at least 2 vacations per year. Since we have the time with Boeing, that's one great benefit. So actually utilizing that. And since I've started doing that, it is, again, I think it helps just unlock a new level for yourself. And also that it helps influence the people around you, because if they see that you value your career, but also yourself, they're going to do the same thing.
And that is another piece of great advice. My supervisor, Colonel Tom Clark at the Krause Center, says it really comes down, self-care comes down to 4 things: sleep, good sleep, nutrition, eating well, exercise, movement, even if it's just walking, but exercising. And then the 4th is solitude. A lot of people don't think about a little quiet time, reflection time on a daily, weekly basis, or a little vacation time. So it's counterintuitive to a go-getter, hard charger coming out of the Citadel. The 24-hour cadet schedule does not mean 24 hours of work at Boeing or anywhere else. And in fact, it's counterproductive. You don't end up being as effective of a person, as a team member or a team leader. So I can't thank you enough, Ryan. Great job. I don't know. Are you still connected with Paige over at the Career Center?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. You should be mentoring cadets who are interested in getting into business and engineering. I hope you stay involved, and I will certainly keep you apprised of any opportunities. So
I would love to. I still go back and speak to cadets regularly. I tell Paige, anyone that you want to throw over to me to talk, send them my way on LinkedIn. I've got a couple cadets that reached out this week, and I said, hey, let's chat on the phone. This is really, looking back, also this is where I discovered my passion. I truly believe in this goal setting, actually. So I got a whiteboard right there.
The whiteboard.
This is it, man. You want to know what I want for my life? It's right there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I have to admit, I've done the same thing. So far, on track, but that's a great tool to share with people. So, all right, Ryan.
So simple. So anything I can do to help, more than happy. And
great interview. Thank you for the time.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care.